Let me suit up here real quick.
Yeah, I gotta get suited up there,
Not all
Kaylee.
superheroes wear capes, but some wear aprons.
Right?
Welcome back to the second hour of Ozarks Fox AM. I'm Kaylee Custer.
And I'm Jeremy Rabe, and thanks for tuning in on this Thankful Thursday. And you know what that means, Kaylee, on Thursdays? We're dishing it.
We get to eat.
Yes, and this is almost a recipe just made for you because yesterday our producer, Jake, said, Kaylee, what kind of food do you like?
Mexican.
Me too.
Number one, always at the top.
I grew up in Texas, and really my mom's Tex-Mex food is my favorite. And I love Mexican food. Could eat it all day long, every day, and never get sick of it.
Same. Especially free chips and salsa. I think that's what initially hooked me.
Right. The goal is not to get filled up with chips and salsa before your food comes.
Usually that happens, so.
That is. Kaylee, do you consider yourself a cook? Do you like to cook?
An amateur.
Everything you've made on the show has been delicious, though. When you brought stuff in for your segments, it's been delicious.
I mean, I try, but it's hard to follow a recipe sometimes.
Well, see, as my mom's rule, Kelly's rule, recipes were made to be broken. They always are. I always need to add something or take something away, and I customize it for whatever I'm making and my personal taste for my family. So, today, in honor of you, Kaylee, we're going to be making steak. Let me make sure. Yeah, just steak fajitas, okay?
Keeping it generic.
It sounds simple, but what this recipe called for was we get to make our own homemade salsa for the steak fajitas. Now, if you look at your screen, here are the ingredients that you will need to make this. I'm excited that I make my own version of my own salsa at home.
Right, I was going to say, you're not new to this.
No, but it's fun to follow a recipe and see how they make it versus how I make it. Kaylee, do you want to hear something really crazy that my family does with salsa?
Yeah.
I don't know if
Put
you
it
ever
up your nose?
No.
Is that a family thing?
That's a family thing. Snort the salsa. My family, it's been a tradition of ours for a long time. Like traditionally after church on Sunday, we'll go to a Mexican restaurant to eat. When they provide the chips and salsa, guess what my family does? They put half a packet of Sweet and Low in the salsa.
So how does that change the flavor? It just makes it more sweet?
It sweetens it. It kind of brightens the flavor. But what's funny is now I have to do that because I grew up eating it that way, and it's just my whole family does that. You put in the Sweet and Low in the salsa, and I'll have to do that for you sometime just so you can see the taste, the difference.
Interesting.
It's just what we do.
I've never heard of that.
And by the way, you're getting a shot of all of our beautiful ingredients, and yes, Chef Millman is not here today. I'm going to put this right up here. This is what we're Look, I just dropped it in the shot. I dropped it like it was hot, and it's not hot yet, but it's pre-cooked. I got pre-cooked beef steak because I didn't want to run out of time cooking the meat on the show. It's pre-cooked. We're going to heat it up with some onions. I say yum. What do you think?
Absolutely. I love onions.
Okay, so should we get started chopping some veggies? Let's start with the salsa. So, Kaylee, how are you with tomatoes?
They're a little hard to cut.
Would you rather I do it?
Go for it.
Okay, I'll do the tomatoes then. I'm going to set this to the side. I'll do the tomatoes, but we have a lot of things. The only thing I pre-cut was the jalapeno from my garden because it needed to be seeded and diced, and I do that at home with gloves and a mask because the fumes in the studio could affect us on television. Right. So that right there is the...
I think it would have been pretty funny doing this whole cooking segment crying.
Well, we still have onions to cut. That may happen.
May still happen.
That may happen.
Rule it out.
Okay, for the salsa, we're going to use this red onion, and I'm going to get you starting to work on this, and we need actually... how much does it say of that red onion? Oh, half a cup. Which, it may be that whole red onion. I don't know. I like onion a lot, so if you put more in, Kaylee, I will not be upset. Okay. And we do have the garbage can here for you for all the excess, Kaylee. There we go. Now, while you're cutting the onion, I'm going to start prepping some other veggies. But when I told Elisa Rafa we're making fajitas, she seemed genuinely excited. Elisa, are you excited for steak fajitas?
I love Mexican food.
Yeah.
If it's not pasta, it's a quesadilla. Those are like the only two things that I eat.
Love it!